good to meet you. How's everything been coming along?
Everything's been great. Tough but good. Um, Game there learning. Spend a lot of time on this. It's a nightmare, but trying to catch up with it. How's everything
Awesome.
with you?
Things are good. Things are good. Thanks. I always love talking LSAT, meeting new folks who are studying and going through the process. I'm glad you've been enjoying my material and finding it useful. And I'm excited to see how we might be able to work together so I could help you out because I don't want this to be a nightmare. I want it to be fun. I want it to be enjoyable. And I want you to feel like you're making forward progress.
That's correct. I think I've been reading every single email that you send out there, and it's hopeful. I would say that's a word because I've been scrambling a little bit, but so were you, and so has been a lot of people. So um as you said, it doesn't have to be a nightmare. It could be learned, and I'm actually on that boat.
Fantastic. So, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? I'd love to help you out.
So I think the biggest problems that I've been having is with logic games. I've been better at it. I think as I practice I get better at it. But logical reasoning has been a problem. I think that's the major problem that I have. I've been slowly progressing on reading comp, but logical reason, yeah, argument is just what kills me lately. Like,
Okay.
uh, it's kind of hard. I don't know if you could understand from that point of view, but like my first language is Spanish. So it's just like I've never seen this before. So it's like seeing it for the first time and taking it for the first time. It was like I don't know where I'm at. So I started to kind of like slowly learn the techniques. I'm starting to recognizing what I need to recognize to actually switch my brain on once I need to get to an argument. So it even though the process has been slow, I've been making sort of progress, a little bit of progression, but it's still hard to me.
I hear you.
So
Okay.
I
So,
think that's my
yeah.
major fall down. Yeah.
So you said you want your brain to switch on while you're evaluating arguments. You want to be on, you want to be on fire, you want to be evaluating as things come in.
Absolutely. I think in logic games, it's been like that. In the beginning, I couldn't done any. So like right now, I look at a problem, like I recognize things right away, like boom, 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 and like start to write it down. Like I know where my brain goes right away. Instead of when I read an argument and then like it's asking me for it, then I have to read it 10 times in order for me to get it, instead of like know where to look for, nor what like words turn into what, recognizing patterns and trying to look for the like right answer, although you're looking for wrongness not rightness, but still like trying to identify and also timing. I feel like I think I've been working on my accuracy first, in order for me to get better and have that speed process to be like faster for me.
Right, right. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, we got to get you to the place where you like logical reasoning, where you encounter a new argument and it is clicking, it is processing. You do feel like you're making forward progress, not like everything just kind of freezes.
That's and I think that's where I'm at. I've been practicing a lot with this, what is it called? I think it's called Khan Academy. So
Okay.
it's like it gives you so a bunch of practices during the day, but like at the end of the day, well, at the end of the week, you actually take a prep test. um and then although my logical reasoning is going up, my analytical reasoning arguments are like staying right there, or they go up a point, or they go down a point, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. It's just like it's hard. I'm Even though I'm trying to recognize the patterns, I'm not quite there yet. um but it's hard given the fact that that it's not my language. So it's even harder for me to actually recognize that. But it with that said, it's not like I'm giving up on it. I'm one of those guys who like I'm so stubborn, and I'm like going at it, going at it, going at it. And I also quit my job just to do this, like to get into law school. So like no matter what's in my head, I'm gonna get to that. You know what I mean? So and also reading all the stuff that you've been putting out there, like it's hopeful. For me, it's inspiring also, and it motivates me to like you know to learn. I've been an A+ student. I just graduated college with like 4.0. So like I don't want that to be. I don't want this score to be a barrier between me and law school because I really want to go there.
Of course, of course. Well, you're definitely dedicated. You're hardworking. The 4.0 demonstrates that. The fact that you've been reading the emails and following along and doing the work on your end as well, like it shows that you're willing to put in what it takes. So the question is just basically how to take the skills you already have and help you jump over that hurdle. You got to cross over this particular threshold. Once you do, it'll all click. It'll be easy. But you got to see the patterns of how this exam works.
Exactly.
Even though you're not non-native English speaker, that just means it takes a little bit longer, but you can learn just the same.
Yeah, yeah, and I think in one of the questions that I asked you was like, hey, I got myself into the June exam, and I was like, hey, should I take it? Should I not take it? Like I feel that pressure to go into law school, and I'm not giving myself enough time to actually learn, even though the time that I need, it's actually longer because of the barrier of the language, And as you said, I need to be patient with myself. But as you can see, is I'm just like on the go. Like I want to do it, and I don't lose that motivation. And it's getting to a point where like I want to eat it like every day. Like it's got to be in here. It's got to be in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can get you there. We can get you there. And you've seen my stuff. Like you probably heard me talk about review quite a bit. Yeah. So review's key. If you can, and especially for logical reasoning, if you can understand the mistakes you're making and why, especially why the tempting wrong answer is tempting and why it's ultimately wrong, why the right answer might seem unappealing at first, but why it's ultimately correct, as well as things that might make the stimulus more difficult. If you can understand those patterns in the mistakes that you're personally making, it'll click. You'll see the progress. You'll see things start to improve as you pick up more and more of those patterns in mistakes you previously would have made, but you've since learned from.
Amazing. I feel like I have a couple of questions in regards to the method.
Sure.
I know, and I saw I went through your webpage and all that. I saw, I think I have it open here. I saw packages. I also, but I was kind of confused about it because I don't know how long would that take or how. I just wanted you to like elaborate a little more on that, just to see what's suitable in this case. But I just wanted to hear it from you because I was kind of like all over the place when I actually review it.
Sure. So the Supreme course is the best option. It includes everything. So all the videos, all the workshops, all the mastermind sessions, all the classes, it's all there. You get everything.
In this case, how many months you recommend, or is it until I get there? Like, how do you manage expectations of people who are in my place?
Well, let me ask you this question. I mean, how much time do you have available to study, and do you have a particular target test date in mind?
I have Monday through Friday to study every day, all day.
So you could study full time. You could put in theoretically 30, 35 hours a week.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I quit my job to do this.
Amazing. Oh, wow. That puts you in a great position. You're lucky to be able to do that.
It's an investment. Like I've been saving, and I said, I gotta get to this, and I gotta get through this. I'll get a job later on. I could get a job anywhere else later on. And my priority is school right now. So it's, it is what it is.
Sure. Well, that puts you in an ideal position. I mean, you could knock this out by the end of the year for sure. I mean, I would say at this point, how long have you been studying so far? Because that also relates.
So, I started last year. I won a scholarship at John Jay to study for a month and a half with a teacher, with a couple of classmates, and it lasted for I would say a month and a half, probably 2 months. But I was also in class. I was also working, so I didn't have a lot of time to do it. And so I'll probably dedicate like an hour, probably 2 hours a day, which it wasn't sufficient for me. And after I took the November test, everything fell on like through the cracks because I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, or forget it. I'm overwhelmed with school, with work. I'll probably revisit later on. So by January, I said, okay, I have a fresh mind right now. I need a strategy. to actually go in there and like knock this out and move on. And so I worked my butt off. I saved a couple of bucks here and there, and I was like, all right, I need to quit my job right now. And since March that I finished school, March 26th, I've been studying basically every day with this method that I was
Wow.
mentioned before. Yeah.
Awesome. So you put in a lot already. You put in a lot
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shows me that much more how much you're dedicated to
And
this.
I still want to put more. Like, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. Like, if I could study every day, every single hour, I'll do it. Like, I don't care how much it takes. I just need to like be, because this is also like a challenge to myself. So like I take it as this. Like I need to break. I'm very competitive, so I need to break this test. And I'm not thinking about it in a specific score, because sometimes I could be disappointed by it, but something that'll make me really happy. And if I can look back in a couple of months and be like, all right, I did this and I got into law school, then that's sufficient for me. I'm just
Amazing.
eager to actually beat this.
I'm really excited to hear that. It sounds like you're in a better position than 99% of people I talk to, because you've
Amazing.
done a ton already, and you bring that all to the table, and you can study full time going forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
based on what you're telling me, it's possible that you'll be ready by August. Now
Amazing.
the last question I have for you is relating to how much time you want to put in is what are your goals? Like, what do you want to achieve in terms of an LSAT score?
So to be honest with you, like the first exam that I took, it was crap. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I think the score that I got was because of logical reasoning and logical games. But everything else, it was basically like purely luck. Um, so that was a 139, which it was crap. I wasn't happy with it. You know, I was mad at myself. But I feel like a 160, 165 will do it for me.
I hear you. Well, I hope that over the course of this journey, you'll aim even higher.
Yeah, and that's my medium, I would say. Like I could I feel like if I can break this, because I compare this to the instruments that I've been playing. I'm a musician myself, and it took me a lot of time, a lot of practice, dedication to actually start playing well. So I compare it to that. Like the more I do it, the more I practice, I'll probably see it more. I'll probably recognize it more, and I'll probably be able to direct my brain to where it needs to go. And so I feel like a 165, it'll be the medium, but I know I can do better. I know that.
I'm glad you recognize that, because your dedication, your 4.0, it indicates a high potential for this. So I would suggest, I mean, you can, I always recommend aiming for 180, by the way. Always, always, always aim for 180. And based on what you're willing to put in, what you've done so far, you could get a top score by August, 2 months from now.
And also, Steve, I feel like it's not only about the score, it's about later on, like what's in law school. Um, the 4.0 and maybe great score in the LSAT could give me a scholarship. So this I see it always as an investment. People say, oh, well, you're gonna spend money on that. Like that's you got to put it into in order for you to get rewards later on. So that's what I did basically this like all this 4 years. And they gave me some money later on, like before I graduated. They were like, oh, Latin honors, blah blah blah. Here's our money. There you go. That's it. And I have no student loans so far. Thank you. Um, but I'm actually willing to do that, and I'm willing to start like as soon as possible.
Fantastic. Well, if you're interested in the course, which it seems to be what you're asking about because you
I
referred to the
I am I
packages.
am I reviewed everything,
Nice.
and I feel like I don't. There's a lot of advertisement, to be honest with you, like Kaplan and all those methods, but I feel like you're one of many in the crowd, and it feels like with you is like more personalized, more like appealing to the student because you were there. So it's not like a major corporation try to do this. It's just
Yeah.
like it's you against you. Like it's you right here sitting talking to me. I'm not talking to the CEO of Kaplan, but I'm talking to you right here. Which I mean, you're the owner of their own company, but still like it's more appealing to students, like more personalized, which is actually what I'm looking for.
I hear that. Well, I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to me. I'm in the mix, you know. I mean, this is what I do full time. The CEO of Kaplan,
Love it.
he's running a major corporation, and also just Kaplan is doing a million different exams. This is what I
Correct.
specialize in. I don't do anything else. So this is my exam. I'm not one of those people who like is a standardized test prep genius who's learned every exam under the sun and aced them all. I've been through the process. I've struggled with it along the way, and I'm obsessed with this exam. I mean, I can find it. I've been doing
and you master it, and you
yeah.
master it. You master it, and that gives me that hope. Like I can relate that with you, and to the process that you've been. Like I feel like I could actually connect to that, which is exactly what I'm looking for.
Fantastic. I mean, what other questions do you have for me? I'm happy to help.
What you talked about the classes, like would the classes be in like in a specific time of the day, or you could actually go through it like because you have live classes, right?
So they're typically in the evening. So they're typically 8 p.m. You're in New York, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Me too. So they're 8 p.m. Eastern, sometimes 9 p.m. as well.
Okay.
We also have like study groups at 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 7 p.m. and 10 p.m.
And you could actually join every single one of them, right?
You could join 5 nights a week if you want.
That's
and there are people who do. I mean, I don't recommend doing that all the time because I don't want you to burn out.
Yeah, I was going to say,
which is something I wanted to mention as well. Actually,
that's what I actually did last year.
yeah, it happens. I mean, based on what you've been putting in, I'm not surprised, and I want you to avoid that going forward. So I wouldn't recommend attending 5 nights a week every single week, but and inevitably things come up like life, family, whatever. That's fine. But friends, whatever, it's fine. But anything you miss, it's all recorded, available in the course library afterwards, typically within a day or two. And there's more material than you could possibly work through in 2 months. So I'd recommend picking and choosing based on whatever you want to focus on. Logical reasoning, we have a ton, in part because there's so many question types. Right. So people are always asking. We also have a lot. We've repeat at this point with 5 a week. We've repeated a lot as well from different angles with different people teaching it as well. And so you can hear different perspectives. Like we have had at least 5 or 6 classes on flaw questions alone.
It just blows my mind because I'm still trying to, and also I don't know, like when I practice this, like I go to the what do you call it? I go to Khan Academy for the questions, and I don't know if those questions are actually being brought up in the test. So like I don't know if that's legit or not. I know when I did that course last year, we had LSAC for like a month or two, and I think it was open until now. And that was kind of legit. So I don't know if those same questions that I see on Khan Academy, I will see it in the test. So I know there's like hundreds and hundreds of tests that they've been preparing beforehand, but I don't know if those are the necessary questions that I need to be looking at. If you know what I mean.
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I'm pretty sure Khan is using real LSAT questions, which they should. They might have some drills as well. I think the bigger problem with Khan is that the people who created Khan, they're actually not LSAT experts. I've talked with them. I consulted with them a little bit when they were creating it. And I was like, yeah, it looks like a decent general overview, but it's not enough. It's not granular enough. They haven't mastered the material themselves. LSAC, of course, helped a little bit. And some of that material is borrowed from LSAC, but it's like the LSAT super prep book. Like it's a little bit tough to get a handle on. And there's no live component. There's no community component. There's no way to ask questions. If you look at the forums on Khan, nobody's responding to comments anymore. They haven't uploaded a new video in over 2 years at this point. I reached out to them a few months ago and offered to help. I was like, you guys have stopped adding new material. Like LSAC puts on their website, like they're doing a great service to everybody. And I'm glad they're doing free stuff. But at this point, it just seems like marketing because they're not making efforts to update it. There's nothing about the online LSAT. Nothing about the flex either.
Yeah, it doesn't. I feel like it's your average like practice point, and I feel like there's a lot of people who don't want to invest on or who don't necessarily have the money to invest. So they go into these resources and they take it in, and that's how they manage expectations on the LSAT. But I feel like I just want to step up the game and have this more personalized learning because it even though like I understand like I feel like I'm slowly progressing a little bit, but I feel like it's not necessarily there. I don't know if you know what I mean, but but it's also frustrating because sometimes, you know, I review it and they don't have anything that will say, hey, you failed on this, like you didn't do this, you didn't do that, like you just read what they did right and that was it, and then move on.
Yeah.
So you know, it's been a little frustrated. But what I was going to ask you also was that I know the from the students that you have different levels of, you know, understanding, like um would the classes be for also people who are, you know, just starting to see this, or is just like a more in-depth an in-depth conversation of like really hard games or analytic arguments and stuff like that? That's something that I wanted to ask you.
No, if you want to ask questions, there is always a chance to ask questions. You can
Amazing.
type in the chat in Zoom. You can also unmute yourself and interrupt. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Like, we really foster a community where we want involvement. We don't want this to be a lecture. This is not the Zoom webinar style where nobody can see each other. This is interactive. You can be on video, and we recommend it. And a lot of people do get on video. And so you have
Yeah,
that personal connection. And as you work through the problems, then in the study groups, we often do breakout rooms as well. So
I love
you
that.
can
That
really
was my
connect
next
and dialogue.
question.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's fantastic. So you will never have too much going on to be able to get involved and ask questions. You can also email follow-ups afterwards related to the class. You can leave comments in the course platform as well that will get responses. So interaction is there.
Fantastic. I feel like those are the only things I wanted to ask you. I feel like I'm motivated enough to continue with this, and I feel like, you know, I'm ready to do this like anytime. As I mentioned, I've been doing Khan Academy, and it's not there for me, so like I have no time to waste. I moved my exam from June to August. I feel like the tentative date is on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, but like it could be pushed, you know how it is.
Correct. So for the online LSAT with ProctorU, you could take it the 14th. You can also do the 15th. They typically skip Mondays. So 14th, 15th, or Saturday, Sunday. You could then do 16th or 17th as well. They have the later dates of the week related to people with accommodations. But yeah, you've got 2 months. You can make anything happen.
Now, the one last thing, I don't know if it, because I feel like I just missed the flex. Was that the last flex that there were I
Yeah. So the
mentioned?
June LSAT
Okay,
Flex is still happening right now as we speak. Today's
right.
the off day because it's Monday. But yeah, that was the last flex. Starting August, it's the 4-section version.
And you got to go in and like take it? Is that how it works now?
No, it's still online. It's still
Oh,
online
still
with
online.
ProctorU.
It's just
It's
like
the
four sections and stuff.
exactly.
Got it. Okay. And I think my last question is, when can I start?
You can join anytime. The link's right on my website. You might have gotten over email as well. Like, I probably sent some emails about it at some point. There's stuff happening, like I said, virtual every day. So tonight is reading comprehension as well as reading comprehension study groups. Tomorrow is logic games. Thursdays are logical reasoning, and Wednesdays is admissions.
Amazing. And when you actually go through this, like you go through, for example, logic games, do you go through like all the ordering setups, mix setups, group setups, and all that? Like you do a mix of everything, or like do you start at a certain level? How would that work?
So everything's recorded. So you go into the library, the videos, you'll find whatever you want to cover. It's all there.
Okay.
Then for any given week, we'll have a particular focus. So
I see.
1 week might be ordering games, 1 week might be grouping games, and we'll pick a particular game to go over in depth. And so you can jump in wherever, though. It's accessible so that even if you've never seen a grouping game before, you could join that class and get into it. There's always a brief overview of what game type it is, or hey, you could always ask if you wanted more clarification. So it'll vary whatever the specifics are covered that week, but the course library has anything for whatever point you want to start at.
Perfect. Amazing. Is there anything that I need to know before I start? Or just like it's all self-explanatory?
It's pretty self-explanatory. There's an overview section, there's an onboarding section, there's a foundational section.
Okay.
And if you want to jump into the full-length class recordings rather than the intro material, that's fine too. It's all on demand as you go. Like Netflix, everything is there. And so you can jump in wherever, but if you have questions, anything isn't covered sufficiently for you, or you want clarification in a different way, just reach out.
I feel like I got all my questions asked. I want to thank you so much for the time that you spent with me. I know you're busy. You're a busy person.
No, it's okay. It's my
um,
pleasure. I'm glad we connected.
but we'll do it. I'm gonna start looking into this, and I'll probably sign in a little bit and just push this package. I already know what I'm gonna do.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, it was great to connect, Sebastian. To get any questions, reach out. Happy to help.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Of course. Alrighty. Have a good
All
one.
right, you too.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.